Good morning to all the participants and respected sir and ma'am for join this program. Thanks for the support. So we have come all the way to the lecture series 7. So happy to welcome Dr. Teja Krishna sir for this lecture 7.
Thank
And
you.
hope you all know today's topic is on dental cyst management in children, marsupialization rework. So on introducing first Dr. Teja Krishna sir. He has completed his master's in 2006 from Babuji Dental College and Hospital, and its undergraduation from KVG Dental College and Hospital. He's a busy private practitioner and was a dedicated clinic for myofunctional therapy. And he's the first person to have a first dental clinic in Navi Mumbai to embed nitrous oxide sedation in his clinical practice. And also, he pioneered the pediatric dental practice in Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra, and it's maintaining its practice since 2006. He's a former professor in the Department of Pediatric and Preventive Dentistry, Ahmedabad Dental College, Ahmedabad, Gujarat, till 2017. And he has presented many paper presentation and done poster presentations, and with some good standard journal publications to his credit. And its area of interest is from full mouth rehabilitation and the preventive dentistry procedure, oral rehabilitation for handicapped children, etc. So today's topic, a brief outline about today's topic is, so we all know about radicular cyst or dentigerous cyst, which is associated with the primary teeth. You may all know that it's not a rare finding, but still the most common procedure we treat is enucleation, which is the most preferred option, and it's also accompanied with some time with increased morbidity, and it's a removal of injury for to develop a tooth or adjacent structures in case of uncooperative children. But apart from this, a different technique is marsupialization, which is a conservative method. But still, what are the follow-up procedures to be done, like oral hygiene maintenance after the procedure, especially in children? So, sir will be describing about what's a novel method to maintain the sanitation of cystic cavity using a fixed irrigation obturator, which is a solution for it. Even I am eager to know what sir is going to talk about. So, this presentation, he will talk about the technical demonstration of this fixed irrigation obturator and his case discussion of 2 or 3 cases based on the presentation sir's opinion. So, over to you, sir. We are happy to welcome you. You can start the lecture.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is my screen visible now? 1 minute.
No, sir.
Now?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. Okay.
You can go to slideshow, sir.
Done?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Good morning to all the viewers. Life presents many challenges, and every challenges is accompanied by lateral opportunities. Even I'm sure the COVID pandemic, which has affected us significantly in the last 1.5 years, has definitely provided many opportunities. I'm sure all will agree today, were it not for the pandemic situation, we would not have exploited the internet communication capability, and today virtually speak to everyone in the entire subcontinent of India, sitting me being in Mumbai, wouldn't have been a possibility. I thank this opportunity by nature. So similarly, many challenges are offered, and today one such challenge what we are talking is dental cyst, which I'll be talking. Before I answer, I would like to thank Dr. Vignesh for helping me, coordinating me, and providing a generous introduction. I would also like to thank Dr. Muthu and his fabulous team for starting such a nice educative CD web series, basically. Thank you, sir. See, as I said, natural forces within us are the true healers of a disease. How much ever we get assaulted with disease or by injury, if we provide an optimal environment and time, I'm sure the healing capability provided by nature can spring back us entirely. I find this concept most applicable in my practice in management of cysts very true. With this basic insight, I started working to rework on the concept of marsupialization. I'm sure this, when we read about marsupialization or enucleation, it has been limited only to a short note or essay in the final BBS. After that, we have not worked on it more. As I go ahead, I'll try to explain why we don't use this technique very often and what are the disadvantages and how did this disadvantage give me an opportunity to provide a solution for it. So marsupialization, I have reworked to use it as a simple way to manage dental cysts in children. Dental cysts in children prevalence is not very rare as of today. Primarily because we are using investigative tools like radiographs, IOPAR and OPG for routine screening. So in this, we sometimes stumble upon cystic inflammation or cystic formation in the jaws. The outcomes of today's presentation is very simple. I'm putting two cases which help me to understand the management of cysts and which helped me to develop, evolve, and perfect the fabrication of fixed surgical drain in maintenance of the cystic cavity hygiene. The prevalence of cysts, maximum cysts are periapical cysts, which are inflammatory in origin, primarily or most often based on endodontic treatment failures, etc., both in primary dentition and in permanent dentition. And the second being the 21% would be a developmental cyst, which is dentigerous cyst, and the rest remaining residual cyst, and other cysts remaining consisting of 1% only. But most of the cysts what we encounter in primary dentition will be definitely having a history of endodontic failure, and most often they will be somewhere between periapical cyst and residual cyst region only. To briefly summarize, how does the pathophysiology of this cyst gets triggered is most of them, as I said, you are chronic periapical irritation, and this stimulates the rest cells of Malaises, which proliferates initially but later undergoes necrosis, central necrosis, and a lacunar chamber, which starts to attract the fluids. These fluids can be sterile, sometimes can get secondary infected too. The localized collection of fluids basically start increasing the intracystic pressure or cystic cavity pressure. This pressure triggers the inflammatory cytokines, or especially interleukin 1 alpha, which initiates or tells the osteoclast to get into function. Bone resorption starts around the cystic perimeter. And slowly, as the space evolves, again a vacuum is created, and again the fluid collection starts to settle in to the point it can become extremely visible also. The standard options, I'm not going details of etiology and pathophysiology, but in the management per se. So the management options available to us currently are enucleation, which is most popular and widely used. Basically, it's a favorite option for surgeons to do. That is the why it's popularly used. Marsupialization exists as a theoretical topic, but not frequently practiced. But marsupialization followed by enucleation is the second most popular option, which is routine protocol for management of large dental cysts. If you study the enucleation in detail and observe, there are certain demerits and certain merits. The merits being, first thing, it is based on a surgeon's belief and acumen that if I remove the entire lining of the cyst, I will be able to conquer it and the healing will happen. But that's the concept. And when he does this, and it's a single visit procedure where we close the wound completely. So following removal of cyst lining, therefore multiple visits is not there here. And the most importantly, if it is done under GA, especially for uncooperative individuals and particularly children, then we are having a great gain here that we don't require patient compliance and cooperative ability here at all. Probably these are the reasons why it's most commonly used. The demerits, which I uh, totally disagree with this technique, is its extreme radical approach. We never give an opportunity for nature to self-heal and opportunity and time for self-healing to initiate. The nature has provided a fantastic regenerative ability, particularly in the upper and lower jaws, and we don't exploit it here. The second thing is there is a significant degree of morbidity and pain, swelling, etc. associated with this single shot procedure, probably for a duration of maximum 10 days. There is definitely a risk of injury to adjacent structures too. There's a small chance that we may not remove the cystic wall completely, giving a small chance of recurrence, which is a possibility. The biggest point where I don't agree is most often the cystic lining is accompanied with successor if your primary tooth is involved, and that's a significant loss for an individual. If you see this case, which I picked it up from ISPPD site, there has been a total correct way of enucleation done, and after 3 months too, the bone has not yet completely formed because here the clot and reorganize based healing is set in. But the biggest loss here would be a loss of successor. Marsupialization is conversion of a closed cavity such as cyst or an abscess by opening it out. Conventionally, we suture the walls of the cystic lining to the boundaries of the wound. But this is difficult for me to do inside the child's mouth, so I tried a different method which is commonly used and it works for me. I will present it to you. It is picked up from a word called marsupial, which is a pouched animal, common native to Australian subcontinent and some parts of Southern America too. Basically, an embryo develops ex utero in the pouched animals, and that's the opening of that pouch. Marsupialization has got fantastic merits. One, it's extremely biological approach. There is accompanied less morbidity accompanied and low risk of injury to adjacent structures. That's a green. And most often we are able to salvage the successor tooth. That's the best part of this technique. And since the cystic lining emerges out and joins the oral epithelium, there's a low chance of reoccurrence. That's a major advantage of this procedure. The cons being, it's a traditional marsupialization requires multiple visit procedure. It's a multiple visit procedure. That is approximately once in a week or twice in a week. You have to call the child. Since you decompress this cavity, you have to change the packing in the cyst cavity regularly. And hygiene becomes a real big issue here, and especially uncooperative children becomes very challenging. And if they don't come back to recall regularly, then oral malodor becomes the first biggest smell. Mind you, the smell can be too retching for the operator if he's wearing mask too. And risk of infection if it is not managed well. Okay, so long periods of maintenance and toilet of cyst cavity becomes the biggest challenging. The high patient cooperative is the most important requirement here, and it may require a minor secondary enucleation procedure following the size reduction if we don't accomplish the goals of completely emergence of the cyst cavity into the oral cavity. So hygiene of cyst cavity is the most difficult part, and that is one of the reasons why marsupialization is not routinely used. And this is the challenge which gave me an opportunity to develop this fixed surgical drain or obturator. Marsupialization purpose is to relieve the pressure. Now, how do you relieve the pressure? You can use your own imaginations and develop technique. This is one simple way. Decrease in pressure reduces the expression of the inflammatory cytokines, thereby helping us to bone to regenerate. The 2-3 cases what I have seen and long follow-ups also, the older cases where we just opened and left it, gives me a complete belief that if this technique can be reinitiated, you can't believe the amount of bone fantastically regenerating and transporting a displaced teeth back to the exact occlusal position. I'll show you some cases regarding that. The first case is about a 7.5-year-old boy who came with a swelling on over his left side of lower jaw. No pain, slightly slowly growing swelling observed by parent for a long time. And he did have a history of a dental treatment done, but half done 2 years back in that region. Clinical examination revealed a bony hard swelling measuring 3 centimeters diameter over the lower left border of the mandible in the body of mandible. It was non-tender, no crepitation seen. Intraoral obliteration of vestibule buccal to 7.4 and 7.5 is seen. And history of 7.5 undergoing endodontic treatment is confirmed, but the occlusal restoration is dislodged and in chronic inflammation is seen accompanied with this bony swelling. OPG confirmed the presence of a cystic lesion apical to 7.5 and displacing 3.5 and 3.4. Based on this, tentative diagnosis of a radicular cyst was made and we went ahead. This is the OPG when we took. When you are planning of marsupialization as a method, a simple OPG is sufficient, may not go in intricacies of CBCT, and it not only increases the exposure, also the cost burden if you're opting for marsupialization alone. But if you're planning unique lesion, yes, it does help you to judge where the high risk structures are there and etc. In this particular case, if you see the amount of displacement of especially the 3.4 and 3.5, and this is 3.3, accompanied, it looks as though some portion of apical part of this 3.6 is also in the margin. So if I opt to do an unique lesion procedure, this entire non-vitality of 3.6 as well as removal of extreme quantity of 2 teeth and the lining would compromise, apart from the extraction of these both. So a treatment plan was extraction of 7.4 and 7.5 was made under LA, followed by which we went to packing simple ribbon gauze dipped in povidone iodine for 10 days. In this 10 days, I would have changed this dressing thrice. By the end of 10 days, I achieved the targets of marsupialization, that is, the oral epithelium had fused with the cystic lining at the wound margin. And based on the plan, and I kept repeatedly changing. For 1 month, I did change in him, but after that, he couldn't maintain the oral hygiene and he did come back with fever and swelling. That's when I decided that this method is not working in him, so we have to go with something which can help him to maintain oral hygiene at home itself. So based on that, this is the immediate 10th day post marsupialization view, which you can see. Though it has fantastically fused with the oral epithelium, the cystic lining, and that is the swelling intraorally obliterating the vestibule, buccal vestibule. So I have banded 3.6 in order to develop this obturator and taken an impression with a putty consistency addition silicon impression material. I pushed some degree or some amount of the material to register the cystic cavity too. So what I got now is a cast, which is a working model with the cyst cavity in place and band in 3.6, on which I would like to develop the obturator. Now this obturator, if you see, it's based on the simple design. To schematically make you understand, we got a cast which has registered the cystic cavity in place. So we got something like this. Now to this, what we are doing, what I'm going to do ahead is something like casting, like how you pour a Portland cement to get a shape like a track, or how do you pour a gypsum into your impression material to get a cast. The same way, this is called as casting. So what material you pour, that decides it. If you pour a molten metal, you'll get a metal out. Similarly, if you pour an acrylic, you get acrylic casting out. This is all the thing is. So in brief, under the scheme of what we are going to do, following registration of cystic cavity, I pour 2 to 3 layers. I apply 2 to 3 layers of modeling wax, but into the cystic cavity, maintaining one opening towards the mouth of the cyst, which is void, which is nothing here. This is the space where the intracystic extension will come. You'll come to know soon. Now, cyst cavity has been. Now, to this, I put a simple wick, thin wick, say up to 1 to 2 mm diameter wick made up of modeling wax, and embed it in the center of this wall. This space. This is the modeling wax. This is modeling wax, and this is the empty space. Now, if I pour into this any media, say acrylic, I'll get entire acrylic stump with a void in the center for carrying the irrigant. Now, what I got here is exactly this. I got an intracystic extension into the cystic cavity, and I have given a vent from where I can send the irrigants into the cystic cavity. Thereby, the cyst opening orifice is plugged. I am able to irrigate the cyst cavity. So, to briefly show you the technique, I have employed this conventional band and loop design, which we all are used to, and over this I have soldered it and stabilized the band, stabilized the loop component. And during this soldering, pack the entire cyst cavity and adjacent structures with a supersaturated gauze, water gauze. Gauze dipped, you can even take cotton dipped completely in water and pack it off so that it doesn't get destroyed by the heat generated by the soldering. Into this, as I said I have put layers, close the undercuts, everything with 1 or 2 layers of modeling wax. I have given one gentle extension of this modeling wax wick outside too. This is for when I pour water inside, it should drain out. That is the drain. Just remember this small drain. Center of this, in this photograph, I have used a Gattapacha cone, but it becomes very tenacious and difficult to remove Gattapacha cone. So I recommend you to use modeling wax of same size and shape in the center. This thing is bent towards the buccal surface tooth. In this case, it is canine, because I want to introduce the water or irrigant to go in this direction and come out, not from occlusal surface. In this structure, when I pour the acrylic resin, I will be getting the buccal flange completely covered occlusal surface and a lingual flange, and with a retentive band and clasp. To this, you can place some additional retention supports, like a canine support with a small 6 mm wire, 0.6 mm wire or something like that too, to get the stability of the structures. I used here 0.9 mm gauge wire initially to give me the sturdiness and support for the thing. Now, to this, what we really done is acrylic resin has been poured into this cavity, and this is molding wax. So when I remove it, I'll be getting this acrylic insert with a modeling wax in the center of the structure. When I put this in hot water, I'm going to get a completely cleared structure, completely cleared place where the irrigant can go in and fill the cavity. And whatever has to come out will come out to the drain, what I said. Even though it's against gravity, this is sufficiently enough for it to maintain it. So when you introduce in the intraoral site, you are basically seeing here the same appliance. This is the link. This is the canine support, what I said you, and there is a band and loop embedded in this vestibule, in this structure, and you can see the buccal flange too. Now, my orifice for entering the irrigant is from the buccal side, which I said you. Following dewaxing, you will get entirely a pipe inside the intracystic extension able to carry the irrigant. You can use a choice of irrigant whatever, and you can use a tip of your injectable composites, which we got, or you call as flowable composites. That blunt tip can be given to the 5 ml syringe and Duralock syringe, and you can give this patient to do regular irrigation. Now, the parts of this cyst from outer external surface, it is this. And now when you see the inferior surface, I'm able to show you here an irrigation. This is the intracystic extension of this appliance. When you inject water inside, it pour in. Can you see one groove here that gives you to remove the excess thing and prevention of buildup of pressure inside? That's all. I'm sure this is a simple design, easy to fabricate with day-to-day appliances available and equipment available in a routine dental practice. These are two support flanges and the entire occlusal surface is covered so food doing chewing doesn't go. So first thing, it becomes functional for the patient to chew on that side. Second one, it's easy for parent to use it at home too. The post-cementation instructions and home care would be, first and foremost, you have to irrigate this thing twice or thrice daily with warm salt water preferably. Night time particularly irrigate this irrigate the cystic cavity with chlorhexidine mouthwash in undiluted form and hold it for 5 to 10 minutes. Then again re-irrigate and flush out the contents using warm salt water. The targeted duration of wear would be max to max 3 to 4 months, by which there is a fantastic recovery and reduction of the cyst cavity and it tries to emerge towards the oral cavity. Now, when it is emerging towards the oral cavity, when it becomes from a cavity to a dimple, just a dimple, and that's the time when we can remove the this obturator. Office care is, it is prudent to call them whenever they inform the patient to come back in case of pain, swelling, or some kind of discomfort as soon as possible. If not, then monthly once recall is recommended, where we examine for oral hygiene, reduction in the extraoral size, and if required, you can take radiograph. And when at that time, you can also remove this temporarily and re-examine the cavity, cystic cavity. And if the cystic cavity is recovering, then you can trim the intracystic extension with a burr and reduce the size progressively. So as the cyst cavity reduces, it will go towards the oral cavity and the cavity size also comes down. This intracystic extension should not be hinderant. The whole concept is you should give time for the cyst cavity to reduce and come and touch the oral cavity. If such extensions are not given, if this kind of obturators are not given, there's a high risk of early closure of the opening of the cyst and again entrapping and forming a cyst cavity in future. So every month once you can remove 1 or 2 mm possibly. This is a case of first case where you can see in September 2018 there is a huge displacement, and that's a tooth on extraction and placement of the, by October I finished it. And I think by December end somewhere, I removed the appliance because by then it had become a simple self-cleansing dimple. And by July, you can see the tooth are showing some emergence. Clinically, if you observe, there's a immediate post-extraction, that is after 10 days, sorry. And this is somewhere in November, December, when I said that when it had become a self-cleansing dimple, I removed it off. Now it can reorganize on its own. By July, we are able to see the tips of the successor, and by September, exactly in 1 year's time, I was able to see completely repositioned tooth from here. What I want you to appreciate is see the distance it has traveled and come to the accurate position where simple time we are given for healing to happen. Second case is also a similar kind in the left border swelling, but this patient taught me something. The mother was extremely anxious and confused because she was sent here for second opinion at our place, and when with already a pre-treatment in mind that the child will undergo a full-fledged GA based enucleation and removal of some part, and a word called biopsy had entered their brain. I think she had some precancerous lesion and biopsy of her own some body tissue, and she was worried that there is cancer even in the child. If you see this kind of images, if parents are carrying with half information, they are bound to have such a high degree of anxiety and tension in the house. So it makes us next time to rethink, should we send such kind of information and to parents particularly who are not well educated. So when I suggested to them the same technique, it will work, they very well agreed, because first thing, it was a chair side based procedure and it required routine observation only. Now, following, if you see in the June, the amount of displacement by same decompression using the surgical stent in by October, significant reduction had happened. But here, what one thing peculiarly I noticed it, after which I had muscular part of the bone, there was a prominent swelling, which is non-tender, no crepitations and hard. It refused to reduce even for a very, very long time. So in monthly recalls from June to October, when I removed the obturator, I could even see the permanent successor in place. If you observe, the tooth has tightened from a tilt to straightened. I can see this clinically, but the size is not reducing. So that's what confused me. So what I did was, at that point, I decided it is not healing. I informed them it is not healing to our planned marsupialization method. So we may require a minor enucleation method to remove the rest of the contents and promote healing, which they readily agreed. Now, for before this, if you observe in this X-ray, it's tightening, but there's some kind of excess tissue here. It's clearly demarcated. So that's when I took first time a CBCT, and it really revealed me something surprisingly. There was excess growth of a tissue which was here, and I was a little worried about it. I inquired even the radiologist. Radiologist said there's two possibilities: one, extremely rare cystic lining overgrowth; second, most probably a foreign body. Now I had to rethink what foreign body can get inside into the mouth. So when I checked back, foreign body, what could have been gone was the light body impression material which I have taken. So it is prudent that not to use a light body which can get torn away in registering the intra cavity, cystic cavity space. Ideally use how much are possible the putty consistency, and if there are a lot of depth and curvature, pack it up with a gauze nicely, then take the impression using putty consistency only and pour the cast. In this, my attempt to register the tortuous bend, actually the swelling was more lateral compared to the earlier case. So to take the bend, I took a light body impression injection first, followed by a putty consistency, by which I was unsuccessful in removing it completely and successfully lodging the part of it. It survived 3 months in the mouth. And when I did an enucleation, I did find a large amount of bulb of fragment of this light body impression material there. Luckily, there was no infection till date. Now, if you see this case, a radiographic series, it's June, July. I have taken this with the irrigation obturator. The size has reduced significantly, but the healing is little bit delayed. And following October, I did an enucleation and it reorganized. And by Jan to this month, fully it is reorganized and tooth is visible in the mouth. This is the best part. The most important part here is, even though there is a part of marsupialization followed by enucleation, 100% we are able to succeed in salvaging this premolar, which could have been inadvertently removed along with the cystic lining in case direct enucleation was done. So if I were to register the cyst cavity without dislodgement of the light body material, I'm sure this could have also healed completely without any issue. But if more and more number of cases are done using this obturator, we can know the validity of this simple technique in management of dental cysts in clinical practice. The benefits of the fixed surgical drain or obturator would be, first one, it is easy to fabricate in regular practice environment. You don't require extra armamentarium or anything else. No rigid rules. It's a flexible design. You can change it the way as per the conditions provided by you, the child, and to your conveniences. Basically, it is designed to reduce the number of visits to the clinic. Therefore, a patient, if is coming from far side, it's the best thing for the child to have this. And it is self-cleansing. It doesn't allow the food to get lodged into the cyst or cystic cavity, and easily manageable at home. And if you train the parent, you can establish the home-based procedure to maintain the toilet of the cyst cavity. Basically, the theory is increased cyst hygiene, cavity hygiene promotes and hastens healing and recovery. That's how in 3 to 4 months you can see significant improvement in reduction in the size of the cyst cavity and healing. So the basic art of medicine should be consisting of amusing the patient for some time and while the nature cures the disease. Thank you. It's any questions and queries? Hello.
Vignesh, you can lead the questions. I'll come at the end.